Welcome, everybody. We are live now. We're at Facebook Live. I'm with Carmen Maria Montiel, and she is also Facebooking along with us. So we have two cameras. The camera right over there with the camera over here. Ignore that big TV over there.
And what I'm doing is trying to go live. Can we go live here and then share it in my page?
This is what I always tell her. I find it so hard to try to get the tablet over here so I can try to read the comments. We'll get it up there. We'll take your comments. She's reaching for the candy. And all right, let me
try to get the camera so we can see the two of us here.
Kind of.
Okay, there. We're ready. Hello.
Let me get the background on Carmen. Carmen, that's how we got to know each other. She also ran for U.S. Congress and the 29th District, Congressional District of Texas. She is most famous for, maybe I'm overstepping, but she's very famous for being Miss Venezuela and then the second runner-up for Miss Universe. So I've never felt so ugly as I do right now, hanging out with Carmen, sitting here behind camera. And then to make it even harder is that she has been a television news anchor for a whole nother career as well. Very successful over at Telemundo, right?
Telemundo and Venevisión in Venezuela, yes.
Yes.
I work also in Venezuela.
And I was going to say that too, but she beat me to it, and she said it much more properly. And she got her start in one of my favorite TV shows, a show I grew up watching in New York. Good Morning, Venezuela.
Yes.
I never seen that before.
Buenos dias, Venezuela.
Buenos dias, Venezuela. We didn't get that in the suburb I lived in. Okay. Also, very interesting about Carmen. She's on the board of directors for UNICEF.
Yeah, I have been, not anymore, but I've been in many boards. Yes. Mm-hmm. I took a break when I was running. It was, that was time consuming.
Running for Congress?
Oh, yes. You know how it was.
Never noticed.
We never saw each other, but practically every day, 3-4 times a day.
It's like a fraternity of sorts, right? Running. You're with the same.
It was a great experience.
Same kind of group of people. Great experience.
Met incredible people.
Thank goodness we're all very nice to each other. Because if we were mean to each other or difficult, can you imagine if we said bad things about each other and then here we are again. Okay, I'll see you at the lunch event. I'll see you tomorrow.
And you have to keep continuing seeing the person. No, especially your group was a very nice group, and it was a large group.
A large group, yes. See, now I'm even flipping here to try to find our video, but I'll tell you, I can never do it. All right, I already see there are people watching on Carmen's
we have
feed.
People here on Instagram, and they're saying, hello.
Yeah, we are dual cameras. All right, so let's start talking about Carmen's background. You grew up in Venezuela.
Yes, I grew up in Venezuela.
The Venezuela we see today is very different than the Venezuela when you were younger. Can you kind of give a flavor? What was the country like back in the day?
Well, listen, I always say I grew up in a country that was on the road to development. Mm-hmm. We were not a third world country because not only the oil, but we have many minerals. We have many resources. Venezuela is a rich country that should not be in the position it is right now. So the oil brought not only the wealth, but it brought many people from around the world because all these oil corporations or corporations that were into the minerals that Venezuela needed to be exploded for commerce. And they set home in Venezuela. And especially for me, I'm from Maracaibo, and I grew up in Maracaibo. Maracaibo is like the Houston of Venezuela, is the oil city. So we were accustomed, we grew up with the oil camps, with the people from the United States and the people from many different, from Europe also, that were doing business in Venezuela. So Venezuela was very developed, was very, very modern. And the money at the time was invested into infrastructure for development of the country. And the laws were applied and people obeyed the law.
So it was a lot like Houston.
It was a lot like Houston.
Nice weather, big houses.
Which better weather. I will tell you. We have.
How does the beach compare?
Oh my God! Yeah, you have the largest Caribbean coast in Venezuela, the whole Caribbean. So.
I mean, Venezuela is the most oil-rich nation
in the world.
On Earth.
On Earth.
That's right.
Yes, 20% of the reserve are in Venezuela right now.
Yes.
Of the
theoretical belt.
Yeah.
And of course, we know about PDVSA, not to get too far in the weeds, but PDVSA, their output is so low because they took, it was a piggy bank. Instead of re-putting that, following CapEx into the company to increase or keep level the production levels. They took every penny out of it, and now it can barely produce anything. It's so far below its potential capacity.
Well, it was more than that. That was part of it. But then what happened is, PDVSA, the oil in Venezuela is owned and operated by the government. So PDVSA was the corporation that worked with the oil, and the people that work in PDVSA, the government invest into the education of all these people. So our people were well known around the world that they were prepared, educated, the best of the best in oil. So these people, when the problem started with Chavez in 2001, they go on a strike because they said this is the only way to pressure this situation when it was just started. So Chavez, what he did is he fired them, all of them, and hired his friends that knew nothing about oil.
And they still don't.
And they still don't. So you have a bunch of people that knows nothing about oil, and then they were stealing all the money.
What year was that, give or take?
Well, Chavez won it in December 1998, and the big strike that I'm talking about is 2001. And that's when little by little he started firing everybody. And look where the country is now in 2018.
Is that the beginning of the end? Was that the high water mark and said, this is it? Everything is falling downhill from here.
Yes, because especially after that, the pressure was so big that he was overthrown for 2 days. And the Venezuela people the Venezuelan hymn says the mad population, like saying when he said the mad, he said the with strength. And when that happened, everybody said, we still have those people. Because remember, Venezuela, Simón Bolívar is the one that gives freedom to most of South America from the Spanish. So everybody thinks Venezuela is the people that have the strength to do this. So at that point, everybody said, we still have it. And within 2 days, Chavez is back again. And that really broke the spirit of the people in Venezuela.
That was probably the last almost effective strike they had in Venezuela.
Yes.
That was a turning point. I guess if you go back in time, you say, what would it be to keep it on the right track? And that was it.
That was it.
Just the people in the room. All right. So let's talk about something more positive.
What?
All right. So when you were a kid, you were working in your church. How were you first discovered to put you on that track to stardom?
Well, no, in church, I started my charity work. I started to charity work when I was very young.
Your Wikipedia is incorrect.
My Wikipedia, yeah. I'm going to tell you about that. It's been a big mess with the Wikipedia. It was vandalized. We'll get to that.
We'll get there.
But no, what happened in church is when I started my charity work. But it was when I was 16, I was in a discotheque back in the 80s. It was like a private discotheque. You have to be a member. I was with my cousins and friends. On a Sunday, it was called matinee. We went to dance. We're big dancers in Venezuela. And that's where I met the president of the Miss Venezuela pageant. And, what happened is we were supposed to be at the movies. We were not supposed to be at the discotheque. So the big thing was like, we were all like, oh my God, they're going to find out that we're here. We're not at the movies. So for 3 years, he tried to get me to go to pageant.
3 years he followed you around.
Yes, because I didn't like it. I always said it was an accident that I ended up in the pageant. I was never interested, and I never thought I was a pageant type material. I was just skinny tall. I never thought I was pretty for a pageant. And I remember that was my first reaction when he came and said, I want you for the Miss Venezuela pageant. I just answered, I'm not pretty. That was my answer. And so for 2 years, it took to convince me. And after I finally started getting curious, because of course, well, if he keeps on trying, it's because he's probably a win Miss Universe, because that's what they used to say about him when he got somebody that he really wants. And
I remember that string. It seemed like every year, Miss Venezuela won Miss Universe.
Oh, we have, after United States, the most titles in Miss Universe, Miss World. And when you put that ratio to the population, it's really like we're up there. So, and then for another year, I have to convince my father because he didn't want me to. So that's why it took 3 years.
I realized that your life is much more interesting than mine, because when I was 16, I went to soccer practice, did homework, and went to bed. But instead, Carmen's out dancing at the discotheque, not even just like a normal one. She went to the private one where she meets celebrities and it's kind of like you're out singing one day in a Hollywood executive or,
that was Venezuela.
Yeah, but you're just in the disco. And I thought, wow.
But see, that was Venezuela at the time. It was the 80s were the golden years.
Mm-hmm.
It was an incredible place. It was safe. It was a land of opportunities. It was, all the American, we have all these oil camps, and all the American, especially the American men, went there to work, marry Venezuelan women. They never left. They stayed there because it was wonderful. Who
like
wanted to leave? It was paradise.
That's right.
Yes.
That's what makes it all the more shocking, the situation it is now. All right, sticking to the beauty pageant. What was the most interesting or perhaps surprising aspect of being a beauty champion? Is that the right word? Can I say champion? Or do you say a crown? I feel like you're a champion. Yeah. So
I'd rather say a champion because people start and I say, you know what? It's like a championship. The work, the sacrifices you make, the preparation you have to have.
That's right.
It's a championship.
It's a championship.
Yeah.
It's it's competitive as could be.
Completely.
So what's most surprising?
And you have to have brains because you have to be able to answer questions like this.
You better. It's like politics.
Exactly.
But a lot more pretty.
Yes. Not behind the doors.
Yes. All right. So what was the most surprising thing? What's something that you never anticipated and you came in, you thought that's interesting?
Well, let me tell you, once I won, it was being a certain public figure, being famous. Because while I was competing, it was normal. I was in magazines and pictures. But once I won, I was an instant celebrity. And I was 19 years old. I was a teenager. And suddenly just being at the newspaper stand and have somebody drive, and this lady once says, I'm just looking at a magazine, and the woman goes, honey, you're prettier than Miss Venezuela. And I look at her and say, I am
Miss Venezuela.
And it was that when my life stopped being private, my life became completely public. Whenever I went out, there was a paparazzi taking pictures. And by the next day, I was in the newspaper or a magazine.
Was that fun?
It was fun at the beginning.
Not in the end.
At the end, it just realizing your privacy is gone is not nice. No. But I've been living my life like that ever since.
But if you had to do it over again, if you can go back in time, what would you do differently?
What would I do different? You know what? Probably I would have waited another year or two to compete. Because even though I was mature, I think a little bit more, being more mature would have been better. I got second runner up in Miss Universe, but I think with one more or two more years, I would have made it. I would have won Miss Universe. I would have been more secure and in my own skin.
So I'm reading some of the comments that come in, and for all the people on the Instagram, I'm reading them on a different screen over here on the Facebook Live screen. And so we're talking about why do Latinos come to America to run away from socialism only to support socialist candidates?
You know what? That's my question, and that's why I run for office, because I think I have a major responsibility into getting people away from that. Is that why you want to come to this country? To make this country just like the one you left.
I say it's akin to when I see a California license plate driving here in town. I always think, oh God, I hope they come here and I hope they leave their voting records behind, that they poison their own well in California, that they made things so unbearable, the entire middle class is fleeing towards the borders. Sooner or later, they're going to have some kind of tax on the highway there if you want to move into Arizona or Nevada, because there's just everyone just leaving. And so I'm always afraid they come here and they start voting blue.
Me too. But I met people while I was campaigning. I was trying to connect, to share this to my page through my phone, and I couldn't. So I'm going to just leave it in Instagram. When I was campaigning, I met people that moved to Houston from California. And gladly enough, they were Republicans, and they were desperate to get the message out for the people to please vote Republican and do not allow Texas to go blue.
Yes. Yeah, so some people like myself, being an economic migrant from New York, we left all the nonsense. And I know people could say this thing about me. You mean coming here from New York and New Jersey, all those people. Thank God a lot of them vote red. They fled it. We gave up. We tried. We fought the good fight to convince people, don't vote for this nonsense. But after a while, you might as well vote with your feet. Try something
That's
different.
the best way. And you know what happened when you talk, when you hear them talking, especially the new socialist Democrats, and giving the reason why these programs are good, and they keep on asking. They say, "Well, where are you going to get the money to pay for these programs? Because it's unaffordable. There is no way you can have that many trillion and trillions and trillions of dollars." They never answer that question, especially this Ocasio-Cortez. She never does. She keeps on giving it because it's great, because we're the richest country, and this is what we need to do. Because that's what they're doing to the people that have. They're not that are smart. If they keep on feeding that to them, it's like, yes, we need to do that. Now, the question is, tell me how we're going to pay for that.
At least to the guy in CNN, what's his name, who asked Ocasio-Cortez the clip, and it's been played over and over and over again.
He was frustrated.
At least he actually answered them. And a lot of people don't even ask. They just say, okay, great, she's beautiful, and it's great. Vote for her.
Yeah, and she wears some pretty expensive clothes.
Yeah, $3,500 outfit.
Yeah.
So that actually, the question that Eric asked, thank you, Eric, it goes right into what I was going to ask here, is why did you end up immigrating to the United States?
An accident again. I just came to study. I was supposed to go back. I studied arts in Venezuela and then started to study journalism. I'm a journalist, and I came to the United States to finish my career, and I graduated as a broadcaster in East Tennessee State University. And the plan was to go back, but it didn't happen. We ended up staying for reasons that were unrelated to me. I was married at the time. And, I was very unhappy about that fact because I wanted to go back to Venezuela. I have my family in Venezuela, and my family is like this, and we're a very large family. And so I wanted to go back, and I have great working offers to go back, after graduating here for Venevisión. But we stay, and today I say, thanks God that I'm here now. And
it worked out, didn't it?
It worked out.
It worked out well.
And to the point that I came here so early, and I became a citizen so early that now I can participate as a citizen of this country that I am, as an American citizen. And but it was not, I didn't immigrate because of the situation or anything like that.
Which is a good segue. You mentioned about TV, and I wanted to ask you, how did you get your first start in TV?
Because I was Miss Venezuela.
That's a nice door opening up, isn't it?
No, what happened is the honors of the Miss Venezuela pageant is a network, Venevisión. It's a TV station. So they used to, of course, interview me. And whenever they interview me, I was very good. I love to talk, as you know.
That's why we're friends. Two peas in a pod.
Exactly. So whenever they interview me, they were like, "Oh God, she's good.
She's good. She's a natural on camera."
So they start inviting me for replace the anchor woman for Buenos Dias Venezuela, and whenever she was on vacation, so I replaced her, and then they gave me 2 special segments, and then suddenly I was joining them for 2-3 weeks. 3 times a week, and suddenly one day she quit. And
thank you very much.
And my opportunity.
So, do you ever watch an early episode when you first started, just to see how much you've evolved? I mean, your skill and your delivery and everything, just to see how you changed.
Oh yes, yeah. It's a world of.
Is it hard to watch your first times out there?
No, because I was very talkative.
You're already a natural.
Yes.
Now you're just more natural.
Exactly. No, I was very talkative, and it's kind of sweet. See, because you see that little girl, and I was super sweet back then. I don't know, you grow and life kind of changed you, but it was extremely sweet at the time. I said, "What is the little sweet girl?" It's like,
so, any advice or suggestions for people who want to be in TV? Besides go out and become Miss Venezuela, but someone who says, I want a career in television. Any suggestions?
Well, listen, television have changed so much now.
Very different now.
And the ratings of all the networks have come down because really it's what we're doing.
Yeah, or go get a Netflix show. They're giving away shows now.
Exactly.
Just go write something.
But, and they have become, when I worked on the news, and even when I was doing Buenos Dias Venezuela, then Buenos Dias Venezuela changed to Complicidades, who was a format like The View, 3 women, and then there were 4 women. We did it first in the 80s in Venezuela. And
was it as political back then as it is today?
No, that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be neutral. We were supposed to just deliver the news, say what it was, but we were not supposed to take sides at all. That was a no-no, which now you get the jobs depending on which side are you with.
That's right. Are you the conservative? Are you the liberal?
Well, and mostly liberals.
And it's
the only network that is conservative is Fox News.
Who's watching The View? I'm so amazed by this. Why is anybody caring what they say?
No, and it wasn't like that when they started back in the 90s.
That's right.
Now, I'm telling you, they need to close down that show because they have gone so far left and abusive and verbally abusive with the guests that's not right. It's your guest. How are you going to mistreat your guests? I remember my show, we used to invite them for lunch always afterwards, especially when they were international guests. So that was our routine. We interviewed them and then we invited them for lunch. So my recommendation is whether it is first of all, be educated.
Yep.
Read, have culture. Be prepared in everything. So because you need to be able to ask questions, to have knowledge, to know where you're going when you interview people, to write well, because a lot of what we do is write. We're journalists, but we're in broadcasting, but we're journalists. Write well, have culture, have knowledge of things around the world. I remember when I was in East Tennessee State University, there was a girl that was studying with me, and she was, I have no interest whatsoever to ever go outside the United States. And I'm like, why? Because this is the best country in the world. They said, well, I have to agree with you there, because really, this is the best country in the world. But how do you know if you don't go out and you don't go to other countries and you experience that to really say with knowledge and basis what you're saying? I'm telling you, this is the best country of the world because I've been around and I'm coming from another country.
Yep.
So, and that's what, travel, read, study. That's the main thing if you want to be a broadcaster. Because at the end of the day, we're educating people. People are listening to us. And still, they're believing whatever people say, even if it is fake news.
Even if it's fake news. It's still very powerful. The power of the television, the power of the image, the power of the microphone. Well said. All right, good segue. Talk about the campaign. So why did you choose 2018 to put your hat on the ring?
2018. Okay, well.
Even though it was 2017 when you got in.
When I signed.
Just before we started.
Well, listen, I've always been very political since I was little. And my father-in-law, my father's father, he was the governor of the Zulia state, where I'm from. So when I was little, and I was always very participative in Venezuela, it was pretty much elections like a party. They have everybody going around with the cars, with the flags. And my mom used to say, oh my God, she's just like her grandfather, David Montiel. So I think it has something to be with genetics, but also the part of being a journalist. We're involved, we're covering the news, we're flirting. I think we journalists, we flirt with politics a lot. And then the third reason is what happened with Venezuela. That is definitely a very important reason for me, because seeing a country that was perfection, that have all natural resources, not to mention, we could have the best tourism infrastructure because the country is beautiful and have everything to offer, and see it destroyed in the hands of communism, and how we went from democracy and capitalism to communism and poverty, and start seeing in the last 30 years, I've been here for 30 years, and I've seen this country change, not for the better.
Not for the better. Well said.
And realizing that and comparing the experience that when I was growing up in Venezuela, I saw it happen, but I didn't know quite what was happening. And then seeing it here, now I know what's happening. And I just said, you know what? I always said it in my campaign, I lost a country and I want to lose another one.
Don't want to lose this one. It's a great catalyst. Have anyone seen the videos of the starvation in Venezuela?
25 people a day die in Venezuela today.
Goodness.
And you know what happened also is, it's so easy to lose it and lose this country and be what I always say is politics is not a career.
That's right.
Justin, it's service. And that's why I decided to throw my hat in and say, you know what, I'm going to give a service to this country, and I'm going to serve it for a while and then get out. Because my message is, I believe in term limits, and politics is not a career. And I think that's what's damaging us.
That's true. There are people who are just professional politicians have been there for a very long time. That's part of the problem. You can't get rid of them.
So I believe in drain the swamp.
Drain the swamp.
Yes.
All right, stick to the campaign. What's the most surprising part of being a candidate? Something you never expected.
Oh my God, raising money.
Yeah.
Raising money. Oh my God,
it'd be a lot easier if you just had an unlimited amount of money, right? You said, hey, I have a couple $100 million. I don't care. I'm just going to write some checks, and who cares, right?
But
that would make it a lot. That made it a lot more fun.
I spending millions in a campaign when here we're talking about people starving. I don't think that's right. And nowadays with social media, I think it's being proven over and over again that the campaign that raised the most money is not necessarily the campaign that wins.
Well, there's plenty of examples of people who spent, and I don't know, just mean locally in Texas, but my favorite example is John Ossoff, who had a special election in Georgia, and he lost to Karen Handel, although he spent $52 million on one House seat, and Karen Handel spent a little less than half.
Exactly. And that's what I'm, not necessarily nowadays with social media, we can have, there is so many opportunities to reach out to people. And, I think there is other venues and there is no need, but it's needed and it's hard. And it was especially hard in my district to raise money.
Yes.
I think among all the districts, it was the hardest one.
So I asked this to a lot of people, and I've answered this question countless times now. We all have had these moments. We all did when you're out there every single day. What's the most embarrassing moment you had on the campaign trail?
You know what? I didn't.
Oh, come on.
No. I was embarrassed by somebody else.
I have multiple moments. I mean,
you did?
Oh, sure. I mean, it's not necessarily like a faux pas, but it's like something super awkward happened that you can't control it. It just happens, whether it's this awful introduction, people butcher your name wrong, anything of that nature.
Well, they butcher my name all the time.
Yeah.
I'm accustomed to that. That's Carmen Maria Montiel, so I'm used to that. No, I was embarrassed about somebody else but no, I didn't have an embarrassing moment. Thanks God. But I think it's because I'm so used to this, and pageants is pretty much like politics.
That's right.
And I've been doing this since I was 19 years old. And then I was straight to work on television. And I work on live television every day for 3 to 4 hours. And then the news were live. So I'm used to just be there. So be live, be ready, and expect anything. And, many things happen when we're live and we were laughing or crying, and we have to be live and be like normal. And so I think that was the best training for me.
Yeah, I would imagine if you have live TV training for years. I asked a friend of mine who's a big executive maybe a year or two ago, and I said, hey, you're on TV a lot, on the news as a guest. I said, how do you prepare? How do you practice? How did you get the skill you have now? And he said, all right, well, back when I was president of this big major corporation, we had a TV studio in our offices, and I would spend some time every day in the TV studio just doing some practice rounds. So I thought, oh great, so your advice to me is to become a Fortune 100 CEO and get my own TV studio. So instead I practiced at my dining room table, and I got a whole bunch of lamps around the house.
And you record yourself.
Yeah, and I put these lights and I shine these bright lights in my face to make it super distracting, and cameras and like phones and tablets and whatever, and we'd practice. We'd practice until it felt kind of normal and natural, but that's the hard part. But you had years of experience. I mean,
but I used to do that. I used to record, and back then it was Betamax. That's how I have to record it, and VHS. So I used to record my shows. And then whenever I have time, because at the time I was also going to college, I was working, going to college, I sat down and review them to check how I could improve myself.
Yes. That's
part of the job, to check yourself and look for spaces of improvement.
That's it. I'm just reading the comments. It's off the camera. I can't get the tablet to load up the video.
What happened? Let's see.
I don't know. No,
turn
it
it on.
doesn't load the video.
Let's
You
see.
couldn't get it either. Karen, I have 20/15 vision, so it's easy. But
Okay.
I'm waiting for some kind of nonsense to come out of Chase. It's only a matter of time. I know something weird.
Needs link to the band page. Okay. Yeah, we're trying.
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't know.
but can you see us? Yeah, we
I don't know.
Something's happening because we're not getting, I was not able to share it. So because people that were interested said, we are going to ask you questions.
Yeah, we like the questions. Was last question of the campaign. If you could do it all over, if you could go back in time, and today's November 1st, what would you do differently for this campaign?
Listen, I will get, this happened suddenly because Jim Green retired in November.
Tell me about it.
It was at the last minute.
You get a text, hey, your rep retires, and the next thing you know, your entire life is upside down, which is okay. That's what we sign up for. I understand.
So I talked with my people, and they were like, well, you're great. I know the district. I work in the district, highly Latin, and this is November. By December, I signing up, and there I am. So what we do next time is I will plan ahead of time. I will put my team in place ahead of time. I will put my fundraising ahead of time, because everything just happened at the same time. So we were doing fundraising and try to convince people that there was an opportunity for a Republican there. And people believe that District 29 is Democratic, which it is. But for me, it was, with the right candidate, we can make a difference. We need to give people a reason to vote different in that district.
That's right.
And at the beginning, many thought the people that support Republican candidates were like, it's not going to happen. And then they did. And it was the candidate that raised the most money out of all at the end. And it happens, but, well, I came short 83 votes.
Breathtaking.
Yes.
It's breathtaking. I guess if you do it over again, you make 84 more phone calls.
Well, if we make the math, we needed 130 votes more.
Yeah.
For the rate, because I won that day by 66%.
Oh my goodness.
I won early voting by 61%.
It really is about having your team in place on day one, not ramping up, but having it in place. See, yeah, I can't figure it either. I don't know why.
Neither. So that's why I don't know.
Oh, I see.
Let's go back to Instagram.
We need a tech support.
We need a tech support that can help us with this.
It's probably my fault because I'm going to put together. But
all
right, let's talk about socialism some more. Let's talk about. We'll go back from the fun stuff to Venezuela.
It's not that I'm trying to get it, so we can get here on Instagram.
We're in this camera. We're in that camera.
We're here. Okay.
How bad is it? Do you speak to friends and family still in Venezuela?
I still have family in Venezuela, although it's very few people. Most of my family has gotten out, and the ones that have not yet gotten out, they're planning to. The population in Venezuela have aged because the young people, the people that can get out and work have left or is leaving. So, of course, it's very hard for all people to leave a country, to leave their house, to start over is very difficult.
Same thing if there's a hurricane coming.
Exactly.
It's harder for people of certain demographics just to leave.
So, yes, when you talk with them, the problem is buying food, getting food. There is no medicine. I have a cousin that she has diabetes and she has the hardest time, getting the insulin. And my aunt, her mother had hip surgery. She fell and she was ready. And with the few doctors that still are in Venezuela, because most of them have left, and ready in OR, and there is no blood. So they send her back, and we start a campaign in Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere, asking for blood. So next day, they were able to do the surgery. The safety has been a major issue in Venezuela because, the first thing communism does is take away your arms. And they don't take it away like they start regulating, it becomes impossible. But who gets arms? When the criminals. The criminals. So that's what happened. But what happened is the situation right now is so bad. The people are so poor and starving that actually the crime have gone down.
Because there's no one left to rob.
There is no, and so now I see people used to be always locked in their house. Now people used to over Caracas, like touristing, visiting places. But people, like what we used to be 25 people dying a day for crime, now it's 25 people dying a day because of malnutrition, of lacks of medicine.
Average weight loss, 25 pounds for an adult.
Yes.
Insane stuff.
The pictures and the videos are just heartbreaking.
If you think people could go back in time and there was an election today, would Hugo Chavez win?
No.
See, I wonder. I hope that's true. I hope people learn the lesson. But when you see Maduro, and I don't know how much of that election
but that was fraud. That was fraud.
It's all fraud?
And yeah, that was fraud completely. They have the machine that the Smartmatics that flips the results.
Why not a coup by the army? How come that has not happened yet? How come the desperation level hasn't reached it? Because I don't understand how it hasn't reached that
because they have bought, the army, they have allowed the army to have side jobs, side business, and they're doing better than anybody else. And let me tell you, that's the other thing. Yes, we have the army, but then the Secret Service is from Cuba. The police is from Bolivia.
That's right.
And so what happened is there is an infiltration, and that's why I don't believe in open borders. And that's what I believe, that illegal immigration is the worst that can happen to a country, because that's also what happened to Venezuela. Because we have a president that is from Colombia. We have the Secret Service from Cuba. We have the police from Bolivia. And the country doesn't have an identity anymore.
That's right. That could be our foreshadow if we lose our elections.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Why do you think young people in our country are so drawn to socialism?
All young people are. Even that's what happened in Venezuela also. The young people, remember that we're dreamers. When we're young, we're just dreaming, and we don't know the value of money, because there we have our parents, unless, you have to work, and then you are hoping to make, you want a better world. But that better world in utopia, because you say, yes, I want a better world, but you don't know how. Like the beauty pageant, the girls, what do you want? World peace.
World peace.
How are you going to but they never asked them, how are you going to accomplish that?
Oh, my favorite is remember years ago, the one lady, she said things like, she just started dropping weird words. She talked about South Africa. And does anybody remember this? If you remember this, tell me what the heck she said. Write in the comments. But it went viral because she couldn't answer the question, much like I cannot tell the story. All right, sorry to interrupt.
So no, let me tell you. So even my daughter, 2 years ago, for 2016 elections, here comes, my daughter was in high school. She's in a sophomore now, University of Miami. This is my second daughter.
The U.
And she comes, and she loved Bernie. And I'm like, excuse me? I said, why do you love Bernie? He said, oh, he's so cute. And I said, there is nothing cute about that, sir, gentleman. Nothing. Come on. And she goes, and I said, tell me, are you believing all this free stuff? Well, Mom, because really, and she's thinking about college and how expensive it is. And so suddenly free college sounds good. And I have to sit her down and said, somebody's going to pay for this. And what he wants, and you have to take it to their level. Instead, in this daughter of mine, the second one, she's my nerd. She's my 100 points all the time. She is right now 4.0 in University of Miami. Miami University. And so I sat her down, and she got this friend that, she likes to party a little. Wasn't doing that bad, but I said, imagine that here you are working hard because you're making your sacrifices. Less party, more study, you have 100. But imagine Danny decided to party a little bit more, and now Danny's flunking a 40. But in Bernie Sanders' world, you have to give her 30 of your 100 points. So the two of you have 70. You know what was the reaction?
It's going to be, hey, you got to pay your fair share of grades.
Oh, but she didn't like it. She was like, no.
No, I earned that. Do you?
And I was like, welcome to capitalism.
You didn't earn those grades.
You didn't
Taxpayers
earn
did.
Exactly. And like Obama last week. Exactly. You didn't earn that. Well, last week when he was in Ohio, I was like, and he was like, well, no, rich people have to pay more taxes. And I said, well, I think the best way to address students at that time, because he was at a university, is like, ask those kids over there if the ones that have better grades should pay more tuition. See what reaction he will get.
Yeah.
So we need to take to the young people
GPA tax
to their level, to a level where they understand.
They should understand it. I don't have the patience for that, to think that a 19-year-old can't understand some of the basics. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but I understood it when I was 19. My friends understood it.
Changed. Yeah, education have changed.
Maybe we should make
brainwash.
We should make a little app and a game so someone could follow that. I lose patience with that stuff. It's because it's these kids who have no job, who have high taxes, high debt, and it's just all big. It's all big mystery that Bernie puts there. Oh, we'll make it work, and we always refer back to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I just like her name. But I mean, she gets pressed on TV, and she has no answers how to pay $42 trillion.
Oh no, come on! Have you seen her interviews?
I love them.
She's a living proof that public education have failed us, and even private education. The education in this country in the last 20 years have changed for the worse again. And
when she talked about Israel as an occupying force,
oh my God!
And then she was pressed on. She goes, "Well, I don't know much about international relations." And we said, "Isn't that what your degree's in?"
Well, let me tell you. You know what's scary? That somebody with that much, so ignorant, can get to Congress and vote for and have a decision opportunity for all of us. That's what's scary.
That's scary. That's New York City, and hence why we left. Will you join me in offering to these socialists a one-way ticket to Venezuela?
Oh, yes, we have to do that.
We will pay for it.
Especially Sean Penn. He used to go a lot to Venezuela.
We'll give you, come talk to us. We will buy your ticket, and we will ship you to Venezuela.
Stay there.
You can find out, you can live your socialist dreams like you've always wanted.
Exactly.
All right, so can Venezuela help itself? Or have they gone down the rabbit hole too far? There's no turning back.
My answer to that is asking the people of Venezuela to help themselves is like asking somebody that is kidnapped to free themselves. That's exactly what Venezuela has become, a concentration camp. That's the reality the country is living at this time. There is no way they can help themselves. They have no arms. They spend all the day, most of the day, instead of working, trying to get food.
Trying to find food. So what can we do? Does America have a role, or should America have a role?
At this point, it's a human tragedy, and I think at this point it calls for intervention because it's a matter of human rights, and the country is in the hands of not one tyrant, because it's Maduro and Cabello, it's that little group. And it's what happened with socialism. Socialism, they say we're all going to be equal and we're going to improve your life. No, it's all of you are going to be equally poor. And here, me and my friends, we're going to be super rich at your expenses, like Maduro was eating in the most expensive restaurant yesterday in Istanbul.
If you haven't seen this video, it's utterly hilarious.
You need to go to my Instagram and check it out.
What's your Instagram?
Carmen Maria Montiel.
There you go.
@ Carmen Maria Montiel.
I saw this video. I watched it. I thought it was a joke, but it was real. It's completely ridiculous.
And that's what happened is that while capitalism allows people, there is people with different wealth, but allows anybody to come up and raise from the bottom and get, as long as you study and you work hard, you can make it. Now, in socialism, never. And for me, I want to tell you, socialism, communism is the same. I always say socialism is the door to communism, or communism is the extreme form of socialism, is the same. That's it.
I am reading comments as we go. If you have questions, shout them out now. But I want to ask Carmen, will you stay active in politics?
Definitely, I will. Because like I told you, I see where we're going. And, the maximum way, the best expression of where we're going is corruption. And you can see how corrupt our country has become.
That's right.
You can see how the organizations that are to protect us and enforce the law, they are completely corrupt. How the people are being forced and manipulated for other groups. We see even that here in Houston.
That's right.
We have seen it with certain groups that have been condemned by our party, how they manipulate our judges, and that has to end.
Mm-hmm.
And because we need to go back to respect the law of the land and enforce the law of the land. If we keep on going this route, we're going to lose this country.
Mm-hmm.
And once we lose the law and the respect for the law, we become Venezuela.
That's right. I'm grateful that you're staying involved. Are you going to run again?
I will.
What do you think you run for?
Well, we'll see what's going to happen.
We'll
see.
There's
going to be a remapping.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's going to be 2 years or 4.
I guess they do it in 2020, but then it comes official 2022. Am I right? Somebody will tell me.
Somebody will tell 19 to 2020. And we'll see what happened. We'll see what happened in our district. Somehow I'm glad I didn't win, because I think it's a very difficult district to win. It's highly, when you see the primaries results, how many people voted in the Democratic side compared to the Republican, and that I didn't get to waste the time. It would have been very difficult. I think I would have given Sylvia Garcia a fight, because first Latina going to Congress. Oh, well, now you have 2 Latinas on both sides. Let's see which one of us.
And which one actually speaks Spanish?
Exactly.
She doesn't speak Spanish.
And very important for our people to be Christian in that district. It's very important, because there are Christian and Catholics there.
All the debates should have been done in Spanish. Maybe they still can be done all in Spanish. I know Phillips speaks Spanish. I don't think Sylvia does at all. I think that's
she speak not that much, but she speaks a little. Remember, I work in Telemundo, and she was a judge back then.
Yep.
So the Spanish she speaks, we coach her whenever we interview her.
Let's go to predictions. Are you ready?
Predictions. Okay.
I name the race. I tell you who's running. You tell me who wins and by how many.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you if you're right or wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. Impossible. All right. Top of the ticket. Governor Abbott versus Lupe Valdez.
Oh, he is going to be 60%. He's going to win 60%.
So he wins by 20 points. I say even more. He wins by 24 points. A little shy of 25. Yeah. Lupe has, no organization, no press. I think they're doing a debate just so he can make sure he wins by 40. All right, next one.
It'll be 40. We're all gonna go, yeah.
Well, if he wins by 40, that means the rest of the tickets just flying right through. All right, how about this one? The big one. Senator Ted Cruz versus Robert Francis O'Rourke. And yes, that is his real name. Robert Francis O'Rourke.
Hey,
I'll show his notes.
Ted,
I like
I have notes. Ted's going to win.
Okay, how many points?
And he's going to win between, he's going to be, I will say because of the numbers. I follow the primaries. Yeah. I follow the numbers in the primaries.
Me too.
And I think he's going to be another probably 55 to 60%. Over O'Rourke. But you see, the total votes for Beto.
You think he's going to get?
It's 1,037,000. Well, in the Democratic side.
Yep.
No, not for Beto, but the Democrats.
Total
Republican votes. Total votes. In the Republican side, there was 1,543,000. So I don't see. The Republicans are not going to flip.
That's right.
So
just a lot more activism.
I think there's is a lot of propaganda. He has raised a lot of money, and they're trying to make the Republicans believe we're losing. And that's my message: is get out and vote. Don't believe what they're telling you, because it's not true. Tech's gonna win, and he did so well. And in the hearing for Josh Canavan, that I was so proud of him. I don't see that how this can flip. There is no way.
And I give him another plug. He did a great job last week at API. I do like Rick Walker's comment. He says, Lurie, write in for governor. So I'll have 1 vote. Thank you, Rick. I'm not sure my wife will even vote for me, but thank you. Well, because she's voting, wait. She's voting for Abbott to make sure that Abbott wins. That's why. But she does believe in me, so don't take it the wrong way.
Probably she wants you to be more at home.
Yes, that'd be a tough job. I think U.S. Senator from Texas is one of the hardest jobs there is, because you had to travel from El Paso to Brownsville to Beaumont to Amarillo, and then back to D.C., and then back here and spend time in the triangle of Dallas, Houston, San Antonio. You're just on the road constantly. So I give Ted a ton of credit. That's got to be a tough job.
Yeah, that has to be tough.
So good for him. All right, third one, my favorite race. Dan Crenshaw, we all know him, versus Todd the Kitten Litton. Who's going to win? How many?
I think he's gonna be between 10 to 15 points above Litton.
What is your thing? 14? Oh, this is where I get to say my favorite thing. Correct.
Really? See, no, definitely. That's a Republican area, and he's gonna win.
I say 14. That's my magic number.
That's 14. That's my number here.
That's what Carmen had. I like that. See, Carmen's correct.
Great minds think alike.
All right, the 7th district, another hot button one. Culberson versus Lizzie Pinnell Fletcher. What's the number?
He's going to win.
Yep.
For a very short difference, and I will say 2 to 5.
2 to 5 points. Correct again. He's going to win by 4 points.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, but he's going to win.
Because you mentioned primary numbers. I did the same thing. I tallied up all the Republican votes versus all the Democrat votes. And I say this an awful lot. So if you heard this before, sorry for repeating it. But Culberson, he didn't have a serious challenge by Ziegler. He didn't have a website. But then on the D side, they had the New York Times here every other day, CNN here every other day. Millions of dollars poured in the race. But the Republicans still had a lot more voters.
Yeah, so that you cannot change that, and that's what you have to look at it. And do not believe on polls. Please.
Don't believe the hype. Look at who actually showed up to vote in the big blue wave. All right, last one, a race you know really, really well.
Okay.
CD 29, Philip Aronoff versus Sylvia Garcia.
Sylvia's going to win by 60% of the votes.
I'm going with Philip by 1.
How come? That's a Democratic.
I like Philip, and I'm wishful, and I'm hopeful.
When you put the numbers together, look, there were 18,000 people that voted on the primaries versus 6,000 people that voted on the primaries on the Republican side.
I'm being an optimist, and I'm believing strongly in Philip's ability to conjure up some votes.
Okay. You know, you have people in this show that don't agree with you.
That's part of the fun of it, isn't it? That's part of the fun. All right, I want to talk to you about your Wikipedia page.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, that's interesting.
just for everyone to know, if you go to Carmen's page, you get the vote. Should the page be up or should the page be down? And I say vote yes. I don't know how you actually vote. I try to.
Well, I'm going to tell you what happened. What happened is my page was vandalized last week. And by some people that want desperately to have self-promoting themselves because their name was all over the page. Mm-hmm. And what happened is it was edited around 15 times in 1 hour.
Wow.
And that attracted attention of the editors. And these people apparently also requested Wikipedia to have my page deleted. So they have to go to a process. Now, I don't think it's going to happen because let me tell you, all former Miss Venezuelas, we all have Wikipedia pages.
You should have a Wikipedia page.
So if they raise mine, they're going to have to raise 60 plus Wikipedia page and Miss USA's Wikipedia page. And it was just an action of malice by certain people that just want to get noticed.
Carmen was almost Miss Universe, second runner-up, the host of Buenos Dias, Venezuela. I mean, how could she? I've never met anyone. She's my most famous friend.
Well, let me tell you what happened in this process. In this process, I used to be just Carmen Maria Montiel. I didn't have a title. When you enter, it says beauty pageant contestant or beauty pageant winner.
Multi-pageant winner.
But you know what it says now? Venezuelan politician, because with the new editing,
not exactly correct.
Well, what they said when you enter is that she is a former beauty queen, a media personality, and a politician. So what happened is then they clear all that mess that these other people put. It was pretty mean. It was very bad. And these other editors from Wikipedia start editing and putting the right things and the right links and editing what I've done, that I've been running for office and my charity work. So they keep on improving the page. Actually, they did me a favor.
That's right.
So thank you, whoever did it, I know who was.
Thank you, Wikipedia people. All right. Ashley has a good question. She said, because of tradition, which is true, what is your favorite kind of taco?
My favorite kind of taco. Oh my God. It's
Wait, sorry to sound not know the answer, but is tacos, is that a very popular dish in Venezuela?
No, tacos
I
for
didn't
us
think so.
like eating Chinese or
Yeah.
eating Mexican or eating French.
I didn't think it was, but I want to
No,
double check.
but,
All right.
but I've been in Texas for 27 years.
That's right.
So, we eat tacos here.
What's
So
where do you-
tacos al pastor.
all right,
Those
that's
are
good.
my favorite.
Do you have a favorite taco place here in Houston?
Not really. No, but tacos Don Julio that you order to come home
Mhm.
when you have parties, those are very good. And
I'm
they
a
make
fan
the
of-
best tacos al pastor.
We go to Torchy's. I'm a Torchy's guy.
Yeah.
Since Torchy's opened up in Kingwood, I've become a not a regular. Well, what is it, Elizabeth? When Preston goes there, they know him when he walks. Everyone knows Preston wherever he goes. All right, so Wikipedia. Let's vote to keep that page up there. Carmen's a celebrity. She should keep her Wikipedia status up there. All right, are you ready? Time for plugs. We've been here for an hour. Time for plugs.
Okay.
What do you have coming up? Where are you going to be next?
What's gonna be next? Oh my God, let me see. I'm going to the Republican minorities and the weekend of the 28th.
Mm-hmm. Where's that going to be?
Oh, that's far away. Far away. That's
check the phone. All right, if people want to go, how do they find it?
I need to go back to my
all right.
Facebook page is the best way to do it. Oh, you can go also to my Facebook.
Go to Carmen's Facebook page.
Yes. Well, yes.
You'll be speaking there?
I'm gonna be speaking there. I just spoke last week for Village Republican Women.
Do they still meet at the Houston Racket Club?
They meet, but we did it at the headquarters, the West headquarters. And this is Texas Minority Conservative and Republicans Coalition is going to be in East Texas, and we're going to have a little drive.
All right. It's in Tyler, Texas.
Tyler, Texas.
Texas.
Yes, here it is. Tyler, Texas.
Okay, so it's September 29th. Meet Carmen at the...
That's going to be a whole day thing.
She'll be there all day. All day. All right. Any other promos?
Any other promos for the
plugs?
time being? I don't think, but many people have wrote to me and say they want me to do the speech again that I did for Village Republican.
Good.
Last week, because I parallel the situation with Venezuela and what's going on in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So that was so people want me to do that. So probably it'll happen. I always put it Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of that. You can follow me. Twitter is Carmen @Carmen Montiel, and Instagram @Carmen Maria Montiel, and then just follow my public page in Facebook because the personal one is full. No more spaces there.
Like I said, Carmen is my most famous friend. Anyone who has a full Facebook. Yeah, actually, when she friend requested me, I don't know, 6 months ago, a year ago, whatever it was, I said, Carmen, I keep hitting accept, but it says error. Carmen has too many friends. I think Carmen has literally 1,000 times the number of Facebook friends I have.
I have a waiting list. And Instagram is 17,000.
I told her she has to drop a few people. If
that's what I do.
So she dropped a few people.
Yeah, generally I have to drop some people.
I think she did. She went through her phone. She said, "This person didn't vote for me. This person didn't vote for me," and she dropped a go. All right, other plugs. All right, tonight 10:30, I'll be on the Isaiah Factor, Fox 26.
Don't miss it. Yes.
Yeah, we're going to talk about a boneheaded superintendent saying that you can't trust a black quarterback after watching Deshaun Watson's. He had an error at the end of the game. But what a clown. Why the heck would he ever say something like that? So we'll talk about 10:30 Isaiah Factor. Now also, this week in the Houston Business Journal, current issue, I have an article out. It's 4 methods for the NFL to save itself.
Oh, and they need that desperately.
They need
to save themselves because it's not good.
Coming up is our Democrat friend. You ready for this one? October 2nd. Former Mayor Bill White.
Oh, wow. That don't miss that one.
My friend Bill White was going to speak. All right. So that's October 2nd.
He is going to speak. You're going to interview him.
I'm getting, look at this. We got all the plugs coming up on the page there. I'm going to Bill's office over at Lazard. Used to be Lazard Frere, downtown, up at the penthouse. We'll talk politics. We'll talk Houston politics from a guy who's a 3-term mayor. I think he won 90% of the vote in his final election.
Oh my God!
Very, very impressive guy.
How long has it been that we have, Republican mayor. It's been 30 years.
I don't even know.
We needed to see if we fix these holes on the streets.
I mean,
We need a Republican mayor.
Harris, maybe when we stop putting the D's and the R's in front of our election coming up soon.
Next election period.
Maybe we can win. Otherwise, we have last plug. It's confirmed now. It really is going to happen. October 5th, I'll be speaking up in my alma mater, up at Michigan, up in Ann Arbor. I almost got the words. Yeah, Ann Arbor.
Well, you need to fix this that we can see the Facebook Live so we can see that.
You know what? Elizabeth's going to be there, and Elizabeth is going to
take care of the
Elizabeth
of the
Facebook
tech
Live.
part.
She's much better at Facebook than I am. All right, follow me on Twitter at Lurie for Houston, and we have a whole new media page with all the episodes, everything up. Go to YouTube and Google or YouTube search Justin Lurie Media, and you'll find all the episodes, TV interviews. You have debates up there. You have all sorts of stuff. All right, so fine. That was 10 minutes worth of plugs. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Carmen.
Thanks for having me.
My most famous friend. We talk about socialism in Venezuela. And last question. I totally forgot to ask you. What do you think of USA, Miss USA? They dropped the bathing suit.
Oh, Miss America.
Miss America.
That's
Thank
Miss
you.
America.
Miss America. They dropped the bathing suit. They dropped. I think they dropped the evening gown portion too. I heard all they're doing is having SAT tests. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go up there with a number 2 pencil and a Scantron, and you take a test, and the winner will be Miss America. What do you think?
It just happened like a week ago.
Very recent. Yeah.
And they didn't have as much coverage. And let me tell you, I think we women have an opportunity because of beauty to do something different compared to men.
Mm-hmm.
Men mostly are very athletic, and they have more opportunities to excel as an athlete. And why we cannot use this? Because let me tell you, you have to be educated, you have to be smart to excel in a pageant.
That's right.
So it's the whole package that helps you in the pageant. So if we're going to do that, well, then it doesn't need to be televised or anything, because we just go, we present an essay in a room full of people, and then whoever wins the essay, that's it. Well, I have done that with so many tests I have taken in my life. And I probably win again, because remember, I graduated magna cum laude. So
hey,
I'll still win.
And I remember when East Tennessee State, when they beat University of Minnesota, and I thought, how did a Big Ten football school lose East Tennessee? And I realized it's because East Tennessee is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love it.
That was a nice way to end, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Carmen. Thank you all for watching.
We'll
see you October 2nd with Mayor Bill White. See y'all.